What is up, everybody? My mic cut out for some weird reason. I went to adjust it like this, and every once in a while this mic is a little weird. It will cut out, and I have to go in and unmute it from the system, and that was what just happened. So I apologize for that. Welcome in to another edition here of White Eye Sports, where no two episodes are the same apparently, or actually they are, because it happens every once in a while. Well, let's talk week 11. Rough week for me, great week for Riley. Good week for predictions overall for the boys and us. We have a couple other guys who are normally on the show. They're not here today. They weren't able to make it, but we'll get right into things. We're just going down the list of games. We'll talk all the games, talk what we thought, our opinions. Start off with the New York Jets at the New England Patriots. Riley, I know this was a rough one for you. We talked about it last week. You had an opportunity to buy out of your bet. You had a bet that the Jets would sweep the Patriots if Justin Fields started at quarterback. And that did not happen.
Yes, and I appreciate we had a clause in the contract that if Fields was either hurt or benched and didn't make both games, that was off. So of course, the week after that game is when they decide to bench him.
Yeah.
But
Sap called in the favor. He was like, "Yeah, we're gonna need to play in that game."
Yeah. No, I quit watching after the third drive when the Patriots went up 14-7. I was like, this game's.
Yeah, it was not good. Not good for Jets fans. Great for Patriots fans. What we all expected, other than you. The Miami Dolphins at Washington Commanders. I thought Miami would win this game. I didn't think this would be as close. We talked about this live on Sunday. That's up on the channel. You can go check that out on one of our former live streams from Sunday's pregame show, so you can see our thoughts and opinions there. We don't really need to touch on it too much because we went over it there, so we won't really touch on it too much. I don't think any of us really expected Washington to win as of recent. I know in the picks we had from before the season started, Spoon and Dalton both thought Washington would win that game, but I think everybody thought Washington would be a lot better than they were. So nothing major to report there. The Carolina Panthers, however, show up and once again beat the Atlanta Falcons. Now, they did lose Michael Penix and Drake London in this game. London being the big one there. I don't think Penix is as important. But this Falcons team is just them and the Vikings, I feel like, are in the same boat right now. They're two teams that have a lot of talent and should be good, but aren't. Simply, they aren't. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, and they're just not good. Tampa Bay at Buffalo, game of the week.
Insane.
Josh Allen going full-blown Josh Allen. This was a prime Josh Allen experience. Like if they had a ride at Disneyland and it was called the Josh Allen experience, they would just show you this game. I think he had 6 touchdowns in this game.
Yes, I think it was 3 passing and 3 rushing.
Yeah, the Josh Allen experience. I mean, the dude, when he wants to be on point, the dude is as good as there is in the NFL. And Josh Allen tied an NFL record on Sunday. Do you know what that record was?
Career rushing touchdowns by a quarterback?
It was career rushing touchdowns by a quarterback. Did he have a receiving touchdown?
Not that I saw, but
because they're only there. Oh, I was looking at the wrong game. No, 3 and 3. I was looking at 3 and 2, and I was like, or 2 and 2. I was like, did he have a? So yeah, he had 3 rushing, 3 passing, 317 yards, 19 of 30, 63% completion percentage. I mean, 104 passer rating. Dude was insane all day long. Had 40 yards rushing. And they get a 44-32 win, which is really weird because the Bucs didn't play that well. Did you watch all that game?
Huh.
So the Bucs, I mean, So let me read you. So the Bucs scored 32 points. 32 points. Here's Baker Mayfield's stat line. 16 of 28 for 173 yards, a touchdown, and a pick.
Yeah.
But that's not a 32-point stat line.
Yeah. Did their running backs go off?
Yeah. So Sean Tucker, for all you Rachaad White guys, me included, I had Rachaad White going because he's been the lead back the entire time Bucky Irving has been out. And Sean Tucker went off for 19 carries, 106 yards, and 2 touchdowns. But even that's only 14 of the 32 points. The offense was only responsible for 21 of the 32 points. And Baker was responsible for 2 turnovers. Baker had a lost fumble and a pick. So, like, Baker played bad this game. Like, I'm just going to call it like it is. Like, Baker played bad. He had a 72 quarterback rating. Like,
yeah.
That's not good. That's just not good. It's not good enough to win in the NFL, and it's not going to – I'm not going to sit here and pretend like Baker's washed or like we're not here for Baker Mayfield because we love Baker Mayfield. I think the NFL is better when he's playing well.
I think the Bucs are in a similar position as the Bears as far as they are at a point now where they will win the games you expect them to win and lose the games you expect them to lose. I expected them to lose this.
Yeah, and so I feel like the Patriots one was an off-brand one.
Yeah, but it's a division game.
No, it's not division. Patriots and the Bills are not in the same.
Oh, I was thinking about
the Bucs. The Bucs.
Yeah, you're right.
The Bucs are this team every year, though. That under Baker Mayfield, they've been this team ever since the first season, since Baker Mayfield's first start against the Vikings in a Bucs uniform. They have been, well, I don't know, and then they win that one game where you're like, oh, this is a real team, and then they lose. So, like this year, for example, let's just go through it. They go 3-0 to start. They beat the Falcons, Texans, Jets. Then they lose to the Eagles, and you're like, okay, they're still the Bucs. But then they go to Seattle and win in a shootout, and you're like, okay, this team's for real. And then they beat the Niners. You're like, okay, but then they lose to the Lions. But then they stomp the Saints. But then they lose to the Patriots. And then they lose to the Bills. And now they go to the Rams next. Like, there's a good chance they lose 3 straight.
Yeah.
And then they do.
What would that put their record at?
6-5. But then they get the Cardinals, the Saints, the Falcons, the Panthers, the Dolphins, and the Panthers. So they could lose 3 straight and then win 6 straight and have 11 wins. So I'm not like I said, I'm not out on them. I'm not saying like they're not making the playoffs. I did, however, make a bet with my uncle during the games on Sunday. I bet him, separate from the channel, I bet him $20 that if the Chiefs lost to the Denver Broncos, they would not make the playoffs. And I do not think they will make the playoffs now. I think they're going to be out of the playoff contention. Jacksonville has the tiebreaker on them. Jacksonville's currently sitting in the 7th spot, I think. And let's see.
Well, there's a lot of teams ahead of the Chiefs that they don't have the tiebreaker.
Yeah, no, agreed. And so like Jacksonville, right? Jacksonville has Arizona, Tennessee. They have Indy. Then they play the Jets. They have the Broncos, Indy, and then they play Tennessee. So there's 4. That's 10 wins. Yeah. So the Chiefs have to win 11 games. As of right now, in my opinion, the Chiefs have to win about 11 games to get them into the postseason because they won't have the tiebreaker. And they are currently sitting at 5 wins. Sitting at 5 wins with Indy, Dallas, Houston, the Chargers still to play, and 3 division games. So 6 tough games, and they only have 2. They have 1 game against the Raiders and 1 game against the Tennessee, both of which are road games. So there's 2 easy wins. They then have to go 4-6 in all the other games in which they are, or 4 out of 6 in all the other games that are tough to win, to make the playoffs essentially. And that only gets them to the 10 wins, right? That gets them to 10, not 11. So I I have a hard time believing right now that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to end up in the playoffs. And that's kind of wild to think that Patrick Mahomes might just miss the playoffs this season. And I don't really know what to think of that. I'm looking here. So right now it'd be New England, Pittsburgh, Indy, Denver, and then Chargers, Jacksonville, Buffalo. Would be the 7, and then I guess Jacksonville. No, so hold on, let's look up.
No, I think the Chiefs are in a little bit of a transition where a lot of their cap is tied up into older players that are starting to decline.
Yeah,
I think this offseason they're going to have some tough choices about who do they need to move off of in order to bring in some more talent.
Yeah, for sure.
I would not say rebuild, but definitely a retooling.
Yeah, retooling of the offense.
Yeah.
So right now, just to kind of take a little break before we get to the next game, because it's Chargers Jaguars, which I don't think anybody expected Jacksonville to win that game, but they did, and now Jacksonville is one game behind the Chargers with the tiebreaker in the playoff hunt. Crazy. So I don't think the Broncos are blowing a 4-game lead in the division to the Chiefs. I don't think the Chiefs are getting in that way, right? They currently sit behind the 5-5 Texans, the 6-4 Jaguars to get into the playoffs, with the 5-5 Ravens hot on their heels, playing really well. Okay,
and don't all of those teams have the tiebreaker on the Chiefs?
As of right now, the Ravens do, the Jags do, but the Texans do not. They play the Texans coming up, so that will decide the tiebreaker there. But even the Ravens, who currently lose the tiebreaker to the Chiefs, play. Listen to this schedule they play. Okay, you ready for this? They play the Jets, then the Bengals, Steelers, Bengals, Patriots, Packers, Steelers. So they probably win 4 or 5 of those games, getting them to 9 or 10 wins.
Joe Burrow is supposed to be back for those games, isn't he?
Yeah. That's why I say 9 or 10 of them. I don't expect him to sweep out and win 6, but I expect him to win 4 or 5 of those games. Split with Cincinnati, split with Pittsburgh. Probably you're beating the Jets. So there's 3 wins there. And then if you can steal one from New England, or I think you could definitely beat Green Bay, especially if Joe Burrow is playing, you get 4 or 5 there. So that gets them to 9 or 10 wins. And now, the Chiefs have to get out. And then, all right, last team we'll look at here is the Texans schedule. We're kind of getting off track. We're not forgetting about the schedule. We're still going to go over week 11. We're not forgetting about it. We're just deep diving. That's what we do. We get off topic. We're couch quarterbacks. We don't always stay on topic perfectly. So the Texans have a rough one. The Texans are the ones not making the playoffs. I'm sorry. It's not happening. They play the Bills. Then they play the Colts. Then they play the Chiefs. Then they get a break. They get to play the Cardinals and the Raiders. But then they have to play the Chargers. And then they have to play the Colts again. So they're hitting 10 losses this season, I think.
Yeah.
Even if they split with the Colts, they're getting to 9 losses, which might be crazy that they'll be 500 with the NFL's best defense.
Yeah.
I mean, that is absolutely insane. Baltimore did put them on a waxing wheel week 5, so they are, you can do it. Or they put Baltimore on a waxing wheel. I'm sorry, other way around. They waxed Baltimore. Who's the team that got them good? It was the Seahawks. They put up 27 on them. The Seahawks put up 27 on them. That's what it was. I couldn't remember. I was like, I know somebody put up like a good amount of points on them recently. But yeah, so I think that the Jags and the Ravens are in a good position to keep the Chiefs out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
All right. We were on Los Angeles and Jacksonville. Next up is Bears Vikings. Bears get the win here. It was, for me, it was exactly what I said last week. It was, if it's the team that shows up against the Ravens, you guys are beating us for sure. And we were the team that showed up against the Ravens. I don't know what's going on right now. We're a really good team. We have Pro Bowl talent at every level of both offense and defense, and we're just not playing well. Completely different than last week. We made this a competitive game in the end. I do believe that J.J. McCarthy missed a lot of throws in the first half. There were a lot of throws where he just flat out missed. He was too juiced up. His throwing hand is hurt right now. I don't know if that had anything to do with it. He's wearing like a bandage on it. I'm not too caught up in that. I've seen a lot of people making that excuse. If you're able to play, you're able to play. I'm not making that excuse for you. I'm not, oh, your hands hurt. Oh, okay, well, you get to just miss wide open receivers. No, that's not how that works. And why I do, but I felt, and I assume you watched this game. I felt, and you tell me how you felt during this. Either J.J. McCarthy would miss the receiver, or he would hit them on the number and they would drop it.
There were a ton of drops by both teams.
Yeah, the Vikings had 6 drops in this game alone.
And from the Bears side, this is back-to-back weeks where they have had problems dropping the ball. Now, in the Giants game, it was 20 degrees with a 30-mile-an-hour.
Yeah.
You're an NFL wide receiver, you should catch the ball. But I understand you can't do it. In the Vikings, it was in a dome.
Yeah.
So I was shocked by the amount of drops by both teams.
Yeah, I was irate because it would be like McCarthy misses and my phone would blow up, haha, McCarthy sucks. And then he would drop a dime and then they would drop it and I'd be like, are you fucking, because nobody's watching that one. Nobody's watching the drop. Yeah. And so it was very frustrating for me.
The offense for the Bears got off to a really slow start. And it's games like this. The last 2 games are games we've needed to win. And we have won them both. But we let the Vikings get back in it. It's stuff like that just, I don't know what this team is. They're winning games, but they're winning them close to bad teams. We've got the toughest part of our schedule is coming up. So
it's here. It's the toughest part of the schedule is here. You get Pittsburgh at home, at Philly, at Green Bay, Cleveland, and we know what that defense can be. Green Bay at home, at San Fran, Detroit at home. I see 2 wins that are like guaranteed, not like only 2 wins, but like 2 wins that are guaranteed. The rest of those are tough games. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That point, if San Francisco is competitive, that's 6 really tough games. I don't know. I don't know what to make of the Bears. I think the Bears are a 7-win football team that has had they've split with the Vikings, right? They have not played Green Bay yet. They lost to Detroit already. Yeah, lost to Detroit already. They beat the Cowboys. They beat the Raiders. To me, so far, it seems like did Baltimore have Lamar when they played you?
No, that was a bad loss.
That's a bad loss.
Yeah.
So far, for me, the Bears are a middle of the pack football team who are beating easy teams and have not had to play really good teams yet outside of their division.
Yes.
And that's not to shit on the Bears. That's just to say,
no,
I don't think
right.
I don't think you and me would be surprised if the Vikings were 1-15 and they played the Bears competitively. Just like I wouldn't be surprised if the Bears were 1-15 and they played the Vikings and they played competitively. Like it's just how this division goes. I'm a little, the NFC North is a little worse than most other divisions in that regard. Like the Lions a couple years ago had no wins and the Vikings were 12-3, I think, at the time. And the Lions beat them. And it's like, okay, what the fuck? Like that happens all the time in division games for us. So I don't put this Chicago loss on like the top tier of like end of the world for Vikings. But the Vikings are at 4 wins and I think they're 4-7 right now, I believe. If that's where we're at. We're either 4-7 or 4-6. We're 4-6, and we have at Green Bay, at Seattle, Washington, at Dallas, at New York, Detroit, and Green Bay. So 5 tough games there, and we'd have to pretty much run the gauntlet to get in. We can have 1 loss to get into the playoffs. I don't think unless they come out next week and they just put the hurt on Green Bay. Punt on this season.
Yeah.
Just let JJ McCarthy throw it 50 times a game. Let him get all the XP in the world. Let him learn the game. Let him see the game slow down. Let him have the experience of it, and just let him go sling the rock like that. That's where I'm at. We're not at the point where we can. If we win one more game, punt on the season. In my opinion, we're not making the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, but next game, Packers Giants. Giants crazy, almost beat the Packers. I'm telling you guys, the Packers are not as good. Unfortunately for Chicago, I think Detroit ends up with the NFC North this year, just because the Lions schedule is or the Bears schedule is so light. I don't actually know what the Lions schedule looks like the rest of the way through. Do you have any ideas?
Not off the top of my head. I know.
Baby.
More game against them.
They got a pretty good walk here. They got the Giants are going to cakewalk. They got the Packers at home. Pardon me. They have the Cowboys at home. Then you have to go to the Rams, but then they get the Steelers at home. Then they have to go to the Vikings, and then they get the Bears at home. So 4, in my opinion, winnable games, which gets them to 10 wins right there if they don't beat the Vikings, if they don't beat the Rams. So I think Detroit's got that division almost on lock. I don't think Green Bay's a good team. I think I'm not convinced. Like, the Vikings are playing bad, really, really bad right now. Like, top 10 pick bad. I'm not convinced that the Packers can beat them in Lambeau this weekend. Like, I'm not sold. Like, I don't look at that game and go, oh yeah, the Packers are gonna wax them. Like,
yeah,
the Packers are not a good team. I don't believe that. The Packers have made a huge mistake in trading for Micah Parsons, in my opinion. Not because Parsons isn't playing well, because the team wasn't where they thought it was. For some reason, they had this notion that the team was that Micah Parsons away from being in the Super Bowl. A team that was a wild card playoff loss with an easy schedule last year. They got almost swept by their division last year. For some reason, believed they were one player away from winning the Super Bowl, and I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me. They're going to go through a small period of, honeymoon phase with Parsons, and they're going to start not competing, and then it's going to get real rough. Yeah. Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. I expected Pittsburgh to win, and they won. It's kind of. I thought it'd be closer. I thought it'd be a 10-point game, but they won. Houston at Tennessee. I mean, the Tennessee Titans are the worst team in football still. Like, they're just bad. They are just freaking bad, dude. I do not understand it.
I have not watched the Titans much.
Yeah.
How has Cam Ward been looking?
So Cam Ward looks like a full-blown rookie. Like, he does not, I don't believe, in my opinion, he is getting the necessary coaching to be good. Because it looks not good. He's currently 58% completion percentage, under 2,000 yards through 10 games, and has a 6 touchdown, 6 interception record with a 73 quarterback rating. Now, granted, he's got nobody to throw to. He's not like out there with, stars. He's got Tony Pollard as his biggest weapon. Calvin Ridley has been banged up all season. They cut Tyler Lockett. It's not good there. The defense is not playing good. I believe they're 30th out of 32 teams. They're 27 points per game right now. And it's only getting worse for them. They still have yet to play. Keep in mind, they've already played the Colts twice. They've played the Chargers, Patriots. They've played the Texans and the Broncos and the Rams. So they've had a tough schedule. Yeah. They still have to play the Seahawks, the Jags, the Niners, the Chiefs, and then they get some easy games. But they still have to play 4 good teams, 4 playoff caliber teams, and that they're already at 1-9. Like, this is they're gonna have the number 1 overall pick.
How did they end up with that schedule?
The AFC South, man. That's the AFC South draw. Sucks for them. I hate it for them. I went down to Tennessee before the season started on a work trip, and the Titans fans are nice. They were cool. I went to the Vikings preseason game there. They were cool. I feel for them. I really do. They don't deserve this. San Francisco at Arizona. I really thought Arizona was going to win this game. I thought they were going to come out. Brissett had played well up until last week, and then he struggled. But then I was like, it's a division game. It'll be close. And like I said, I get too caught up in that because of our division. And the Niners just waxed them. Just absolutely dog-walked them.
Didn't Brissett set the NFL record for pass attempts in a game?
Yes, he did. Let me pull up the exact.
I think it was
exact
47.
I believe that was he broke the record of 47.
Okay.
Unless he came out of the football game and I'm unaware of it. I'm pulling up the box score right now. He had. Oh no, it was 47. So 47 of 57 with 452 yards.
That's insane.
One of two passers from last week to throw for over 400 yards. Do you know who the other one was?
It was Bryce Young, wasn't it?
Yeah, Bryce Young and Jacoby Brissett out here passing for 400 yards in a week. Who had that on the bingo board? Tell you what, nobody had that on the bingo board. That's ridiculous. All right, Seahawks at Rams. Man. So coming into that fight, did you watch this game? Okay. So let me paint you a picture. Last season, 2028 Vikings get the ball with like a minute and a half left, backed up against their own goal line, have to go the length of the field to score against the Rams. Sam Darnold takes a snap, backs up into his own end zone, gets face masked, no call in the end zone, safety, right?
Yeah.
Fast forward to this season. The Seahawks are down 17-19, I believe is what the score was. Let me look real quick. But before I say that definitively, I got to look and see what the actual. Sorry, they were down 21-19. Seahawks are down 21-19. They need a score to win the game. Backed up against their own goal line with like a minute and a half to play. Sam Darnold was put in the exact same position he was last year against the Rams in SoFi. After having a terrible game, he threw 4 interceptions.
Yeah.
The Seahawks defense somehow kept them in that game. No clue how they did it. Props to that defense. They keep him in that game. Sam Darnold tried everything he could to give that game up. They're down a couple of points. They just need to go the length of the field, get a field goal, and they're going to get out of their winners with a 4 interception game from their quarterback. And he couldn't quite get him close enough. He got him to a 61-yard field goal. Some would argue that's close enough. I argue that you can't expect them to make a 60-yard field goal every time. No. Some kickers are. We're at that like weird tipping point where in 10 years a 60-yard field goal will be a 45-yard field goal. But right now, a 60-yard field goal is still a 50-yard field goal. Yeah. What a 50-yard field goal used to be. Yeah. We'll get there. We're getting there. We're at Brandon Aubrey. Like you expect him to make a 55-yard field goal. 65 yards, you're like, okay, maybe not. 60 yards, you're like, I think he's gonna make it, but I'm not gonna cut him if he misses it. Yeah. Right?
It's a Hail Mary.
Yeah, if a kicker misses 3 50-yard field goals in a game, you're pissed. Like, you're fucking furious. If he misses 3 65-yarders in a game, you're like, okay, dude, what are you doing making him kick 3 65-yarders? Like, we're not there yet. So Sam couldn't quite get him there. He couldn't quite deliver. And I'm not saying that to poop on Sam's parade. I love Sam. I love what he has got to become. I love that he has become so good. And I hope that he goes out there the rest of the season, slings it, wins an MVP, and loses to the Vikings. That's what I hope. That's my perfect world, right? Like, go do it. Go be great. I love it for him. He's a great guy. He gave me everything he had every week. He played his ass off for me at the quarterback position, and I respect that dude a lot. I love it. It is what it is now. If you get pressure on Sam Darnold consistently, that is what he turns into. Period. You don't there was sorry, I have to look up the stats here because I don't want to be ignorant about this. Sam Darnold had a stretch last season. So there were the 2 losses that we had to Los Angeles and Detroit. Those were 2 losses. But what everybody forgets about is in the coming weeks, he still didn't play really well. We had a 21-13 win over Indy, who was really bad last year, in which, he had 2 interceptions in. So let's go through the games. So we lose against Detroit. He has a pick and an interception. We lose against the Rams. 2 interceptions, no picks, but there's the face mask call. He didn't play terribly, but he didn't play great. Then we beat Indy 21-13 on Sunday Night Football. He doesn't play great. He has 2 interceptions. Then we go to Jacksonville, another bad team last year, and we escape there with a win, 12-7, and he throws 3 interceptions. So in that time span, he was 6 touchdowns to 5 interceptions in those 4 games. So there was a stretch there in the middle, and then I remember Kevin O'Connell talking about it, saying, I'm getting too ahead of him. He needs me to calm down. I'm going to get this right. And then he started playing way better again. So it becomes, when you give Sam the keys and say, go win us the football game against a good team or a team with a good defense that can get pressure and all these things, he will struggle. That being said, keep him within the offense, let him run the system and call the plays correctly. He'll be an MVP level quarterback. He'll give you great quarterback play. So I think Seattle's finding that out, and I hope they don't make the same mistake O'Connell made. For all of his greatness and winning Coach of the Year last year, in the Rams game and the Lions game, both of them last year, Sam Darnold was sitting in the pocket for 4 or 5 seconds waiting on routes to come open downfield because they were being called as downfield routes. They needed to be called differently. The play calling needed to be better. And that's why I never thought Sam turned into a pumpkin, because I thought Kevin O'Connell let him down. I thought Kevin O'Connell failed him in those games, and he needed to call plays better. And I think he's doing the same thing to McCarthy right now. And do I think Kevin O'Connell knows better than me? Absolutely. Am I smart enough to know that when the guys aren't getting open downfield, that you should change up the play calling a little bit? That needs to happen. And yes, there were 6 drops, so they were getting open, and McCarthy was hitting them. And, you can make all those arguments, but at the same time, O'Connell, I've never seen O'Connell as upset as the win against the Browns. And I know that sounds weird. We beat the Browns, and I've never seen him more upset because he had to switch the play calling to a dink and dunk offense for Carson Wentz to succeed. And it worked. Carson Wentz played really good because he dinked and dunked and got the ball out quick, and they just chunked their way down the field, right? And it looked good, and it was all good. And we were like, oh, maybe Carson Wentz can run this thing. And I was still on the train of, no, he cannot. But everybody else was. And it was, O'Connell came to the podium like this. He was like, yeah, we went out there. We did what needed to be done, and we won the football game. That was his demeanor after a win, and you're like, why is he so upset? Right? And it was because he had to call this non-high-powered. He basically had to wave the white towel and go, I can't just play call my way out of this. I have to lean on the scheme, which it's his scheme. So I don't know why he's so upset. Yeah. But that's his biggest flaw as a coach, is that he can't just use the scheme. He feels he has to be all elaborate with it and have a new game plan every week and be on the cutting edge instead of just leaning into what works. And so, but that was that game. Seahawks Rams, Ravens Browns. Browns made this way closer than they needed to be. Ravens are the better team. Nobody's surprised the Ravens won. Chiefs Broncos, crazy. Broncos get revenge. Revenge for last season. Chiefs won on a last-second blocked field goal last season. And this season, they get the field goal off. It's not blocked, and they win the game. Congrats to Denver. I didn't think you could win the game. I am still not sold on Bo Nix. I don't know how you feel about Bo Nix, Riley. I guess I just don't remember if you said anything about how you feel about him.
I mean, he outplayed Patrick Mahomes. So, I mean, he had a good game. Everything I've seen is that he plays well in the fourth quarter. I think
Yeah.
how this Broncos team is built, he can get away with that this season.
Yeah.
Because the defense is going to be good enough to keep the games close.
For sure.
I do think long term that can be a problem if he doesn't
Yeah.
get his stuff together in the first three quarters. Because you can't expect this defense to stay this good for his entire career.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I have a sneaky comparison that, like, in my brain, think like, which is really ironic considering what Sean Payton did. Think like a diet Russell Wilson, like a young diet Russell Wilson. Because to be completely honest, Bo Nix has had 3 games this season with a passer rating over average, so that's above 90, like above 91, right? 93, 94 is average, but I'm going to say anything below that, right? So, and that's giving him a little bit, because you could really say up to like 96 is average in today's NFL. But he's had 3 games with an above average passer rating, and that was against Dallas, and we know what that defense has been, against Cincinnati, and we know what that defense has been, and then against the Colts, who, while they have been a great team, their defense has not been great this season. That defense has been very up and down. They have given up, they gave up 27 to the Rams, 27 to the Cardinals, 24 to the Chargers, 27 to the Steelers, 25 to the Falcons this last week. So it's not like the Colts defense is this like super good defense. Their offense is just unstoppable in Indianapolis, is why they're winning games.
Yeah.
Which also allows the other team to throw the ball more and be, more on point. So, or need to be. And even in that game, he threw a pick. But he's had 2 games over 100. The rest of his games have been very bad. 60 passer rating, 87, 87, 90, 83, 68, 54, and an 89. Like those are really bad.
Yeah.
Those are really bad. And that's like, you get that, and like, we talked about this gentleman early in the show. Let's see if I can pull up his stats and give a similar comparison using him. So, yeah. So Cam Ward, we talked about him earlier in the show. His past, let's see, 5 games, he's 81, 92, 76, 78, 87. So if you compare the last 5 games, Cam Ward is playing at a better level than Bo Nix, which is crazy, right?
Yeah.
Like and this is the thing I came to do last year. I said Bo Nix not a franchise quarterback when he was coming out, and everybody's like, blah, blah, blah. And then the Broncos started winning games. They're like, look at Bo Nix. And I'm like, no, this is the defense. This is the defense winning games, keeping it close, and Sean Payton winning these games. And they were like, oh yeah, sure. I mean, he's still winning. And I mean, congrats to Broncos fans. I'm happy for you. You're leading your division. Like, awesome. I'm not salty about that. I'm not salty at all. It's I get salty when people are like, oh, look at Bo Nix. Like, have fucking football IQ for a second. If you think Bo Nix is winning these games, like he is showing up in the fourth quarter and he's delivering when it needs to be delivered, and that's fine. But you are not a Super Bowl contender playing that way.
Yeah.
He needs to be better for you to win a Super Bowl. And that's the goal, right? The goal isn't to win the division and beat the Chiefs. No, the goal is a Super Bowl. Like that, I get really upset with Vikings fans sometimes when they're like, oh, if we could just win the division. Like, no. The goal isn't to win the division. The goal is to win a Super Bowl. And that's why, like, it makes me so mad when fans get on that. Like, well, if we just look at, no, the goal is to win a Super Bowl. So if you're not performing at that level, what are you doing? And that's what's frustrating with the Vikings right now, is I believe the players aren't playing at a level in which they can be a Super Bowl team, but I believe they have the talent to be a Super Bowl team. And that's what's so frustrating, is they're just not playing to that level. And that's really frustrating. Next up, we have the Lions-Eagles game. Kind of a snooze fest, honestly. Wasn't as exciting of a game as we thought. The game ends on a terrible offense or defensive pass interference call. What do you want us to do?
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, it's just sad. Like, it's just sad. Like, that's not... Did you see the call?
Yeah.
Yeah.
on AJ Brown.
Yeah. Like there's no reason that this here. Let's see if I can pull up the.
Especially when AJ Brown is a full head taller than the DB and probably outweighs him by 20, 30 pounds.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna pull it up. I'm gonna share my screen here in just a moment. Oop, gotta get this over there. All right. Share screen. Window. Boom. Share. All right, so here it is. Go back to the start here. I mean, look at this. I mean, that's a straight push by AJ Brown.
Yeah, that's
First
a
of all,
push-off.
like that's a push, and I mean, he does get hand on him there, but he's not catching that ball no matter what.
AJ Brown isn't trying to get his hand over.
He's not catching that ball. He's not catching that. He's not catching that, and his hand's off of him. And AJ Brown push right. I mean, right there. That's about. And this is a Vikings and a Bears fan talking about this right now. This is not. So I mean, look. I mean, pushes off of him, and then he does grab. Like no question, he grabs. But he pushes first. So in my sports opinion, that is null and void. I have a very uncommon opinion about these things. I say the NFL needs to change the rule. The NFL needs to change the rule that if the offensive player initiates contact, so if the defensive player puts hands on first, doesn't care. That's not what I'm talking about. If the offensive player leans in, or if the offensive player puts hands on first, all pass interference penalties are nullified. As long as the contact is maintained.
Yeah.
All pass interference penalties. If you don't want a pass interference penalty, don't initiate the contact. Let them initiate it, right?
Yeah.
Stay
true to the rule.
Yeah, like if you don't it's a simple fix. If you don't want to be called for pass interference, or if you want pass interference to be able to be called, let them commit pass interference.
Yeah.
Like if you initiate the contact, not pass interference. So I think that solves a lot in the NFL. They'll never do it because that's a rule against the offense, and they'll never do that. Just like this week, the Komet hit against what's his name? Isaiah Rodgers.
DB?
Yeah, Isaiah Rodgers, where he knocked him out.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's flipped, penalty ejection. I mean, Isaiah Rodgers was falling to the ground. He came back in the game, by the way.
Yeah, which is nuts.
Nuts. Because you see him on the replay, and he's like falling like this. And you're like, oh, he's done. But and I'm not saying like it was a dirty hit. Like, I'm not trying to say that, because the offensive player was just putting his head down to brace for the contact, and it came in and hit the defensive player in the side of the head because he had to lead with his shoulder. And if he's able to lead with his head, he hits his head into his shoulder pad, and it's a normal tackle. But because the defensive player now has to lead with their shoulder and turn their head, he got rung right in the ear hole and swung around. And it's like, if that's the other way, that's a personal foul and a possible ejection. Like, there's no way that flies. And I think that's horrible.
Yeah.
Like, and not just because of the Vikings Bears, but just in general, if it was flipped, like, that's bullshit. Like, I was irate in the living room, like, that's a fucking penalty. And my uncle was like, it's not, because it's an offensive guy. And I was like, but if it was a defensive guy, it's the same thing as the tush push. It's the same exact thing. Defenders, dangerous. Offensive players, okay, we can let that happen. Like, I hate the offensive bias of the game, but I'm also a guy who would love to watch a 6-6 defensive, just absolute slugfest. Just two defenses just playing out of their mind. I don't like watching bad offense. Like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about two defenses that are just absolutely on point, not letting it go down. They're not giving up 2 yards of carry. They're breaking up passes. They're getting sacks. I mean, I love that game. So I'm a little different. Whatever. All right, last game, Raiders, Cowboys. This game went exactly as we thought. Cowboys win. I mean, Dalton said it last week. He was just going to quit being a Lions fan or a Cowboys fan if the Cowboys lost this game, and he should. But I never thought there was a chance they were going to lose this game. I will say I have a really bad beat for you. You ready for this bad beat?
Yeah.
So a bet's bad beat is when you get really close to hitting a bet and it just doesn't pay off. So I was looking at bets yesterday. So I took the Cowboys -1.5 on the tees. I took the Cowboys to win. I took Dak Prescott to have 2 touchdowns, all in a parlay, by the way. And then I took Javonte Williams to have 2 or more receptions. Javonte Williams, in his entire career, he's been playing in the NFL for 6 seasons, has never had back-to-back games with less than 2 receptions since his first and second game in the NFL. And he's played over half of every season.
Yeah.
Until last night. Last night was the first time in his entire career. So just to put that in perspective. Oop. Spelled the name wrong. If I can. Oh, here we go. Sorry, it's loading up here. So to put that in perspective here. Come on. It is going insanely slow right now. There it goes. All right, so to put that in career, Javonte Williams has played 64 total games. Total games. And of those 64, his first and second game, he had 1 reception, 1 reception. And until last night, any games he played in, he had never had back-to-back games with under 2 receptions. In 64 games. And then I put U.S. currency on it, and it failed to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, that I was like, that's the most for sure thing happening. Like, he's never not done, he's never not done it. Like, since he was in his first game, he's never not done it. Like, that's for sure happening. You know, and then I was like, he could get sniped. Dak Prescott could get sniped. The Cowboys could lose by 1. All that could happen, but like him not getting 2 receptions, that's literally never happened.
This
and
is
then it didn't happen.
the lock of the parlay.
Yeah, and then that's the only, and he had, and to make things worse, he had a catch with like 10 minutes into the game. Within 10 minutes into the game, he had a catch. And I'm like, oh, dude, yes, love that. Let's go. Long ways to go, but we're on track, baby. And then I just kept checking and checking and checking and checking. Never happened. Never happened. It was brutal. I was very sad. Very sad boy. All right. Anything else you want to add to this week before we hop off here?
I don't think so. I think we covered most of it.
Alrighty, well, thanks for joining us. If you liked the video, like and subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate it. We'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.